And let's talk about customization, because that was also part of this show that we wanted to cover. Because what happens if you want to make the software more familiar to the environment that you want to work on? What are the places where you can customize settings, for instance?
Well, those settings, the majority of the settings that you would like to work with in ARCHLine is under this large cogwheel at the left-hand side bottom part of ARCHLine. This is the software settings, the options of ARCHLine, graphics, open and save units, and so on. Everything that you store here will be also something that you can move from an old version, 2018 to 2019, and you can also pack these things up into an environment file, and you can move your settings from one computer to another computer to work in the same environment. Should that be the interface of the software, your hotkeys, or any specific setting. Now, let's talk about a few of those settings, which I think is something that I would consider change when I start working on my computer. One is obviously the graphics, how I like to use ARCHLine and how it works. I mostly use the default settings, so I won't change these things here. But as you can see, should you have, for example, let's say I have a compatibility issue with my current graphics card, so I can't use DirectX 11 as I supposed to, then I can go back and use an older version. So this is one thing that I would change if I have any trouble with my current card, for example. Or another thing, open and save, which is something that I change quite frequently from one computer to another computer. This is the project default path. That's the folder where ARCHLine by default offers storing and offers loading your projects from. You can store and load projects from wherever a computer besides this setting as well. So that's only the default. So you don't have to start by finding the folder. This is just a go-to option. So if you have a small drive space, like for example, we have these SSDs, which I really recommend to take for any of you, because they speed things up a lot. But usually they are small. So sometimes I just cannot afford to store everything here. So I just set the project location to another folder on another drive, which is for storing the information, and this is where I can do that. For this, I need to restart the software. I mentioned the language. Don't forget what you wanted to say. The language is something that you can change on the user interface. This is where you can find all supported languages, or all currently supported languages are listed here. So you can just change, and the software will tell you, okay, for this I need to restart. You can restart, just ARCHLine, and then it will start with the new language. And here also you can change the user interface should you like some different color scheme.
I'm mostly interested about units and angles that
yeah.
the software uses. For instance, for measurements or for drawing.
Yeah, for the measurement, now the International English version by default is set to millimeters, but you can go to another setting like centimeters, meters, and English feet and inches. Whichever you go with, again, you can just change that setting, and then you can start working with it. This does not need any sort of restart from the software side, because this is something that sometimes I even change right when I work with a project. I work with a carpenter, for example. I'm an architect. I usually think in millimeters or meters, but he's working with centimeters. So just to make things easier, I just simply switch the units and I just check the drawings that he gave me.
Important point here, with feet and inches, we support fractionals as well.
Yeah.
And about units, if you have a different rounding of angle measurements, then if you have a different setup, then this is how you can define that. So obviously we try to make the software as adapted to other markets as possible. So if it opens up and you don't see the preferred units right away, you might need to dig into the settings because they are mostly there.
And another thing which comes for me and for many of you who, if you don't work only for one country, if you work for several countries with several other settings, you can change the software to use those settings and those any sort of units and snap settings and things like that.